All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're breaking down a really interesting career opportunity. We're going to deconstruct what it actually means to be an engineer at a company called Aequs. We'll look at the company itself, what you'd be doing, and, of course, what they're looking for. So, let's jump in.
So let me ask you this right off the bat. Are you an engineer? And are you feeling ready for your next global challenge? If that sounds like you, or even kind of sounds like you, then you're going to want to stick around. This could be that next big move you've been looking for.
Okay, so the role we're digging into today is in something called New Product Introduction Procurement. Yep, I know, that's a bit of a mouthful, right? But don't worry, by the time we're done here, you'll know exactly what that means and why it's actually a super important job.
First things first, you can't really get a feel for a job without knowing the company. So let's talk about your potential new employer, Aequs.
Okay, so what do you need to know about Aequs? Well, the first thing that jumps out is just how big they are. We're not talking about a small local shop here. This is a global manufacturing company. They're big players in two huge industries, aerospace and consumer goods. And look at their reach, India, the USA, and France. That last point is really the key, though. End-to-end solutions. What does that mean? It means they handle the whole shebang, from the very first sketch of an idea all the way through to the finished product.
So even though Aequs is this massive global company, this particular role has a specific home base. And that's in Belagavi, India, which is a really important strategic spot for everything they do. All right, let's get to the good stuff. What's the mission? If you landed this job, what would you actually be doing every day? Let's break it down.
Before we go any further, let's clear up that term, NPI Procurement. This isn't just about ordering parts from a catalog, not at all. It's about sourcing all the materials and components for products that don't even exist yet. Think about it, you're literally at the starting line, figuring out how to build something brand new. You're laying the groundwork for the entire project.
So, your responsibilities really break down into three main areas. A good way to think about it is that you'll be wearing three different hats. The first hat is strategic sourcing. That's all about what you're buying. The second is project management. That's about how you make it all happen. And the third is process and compliance, which is making sure everything is done by the book. Let's take a closer look at those first two, shall we?
Okay, so that first hat, strategic sourcing. This is where the strategy really comes into play. You're going to be in high-stakes negotiations, you're going to be drawing up contracts with suppliers, and you'll always be hunting for ways to make things more cost-effective, but, and this is a big but, without sacrificing quality. This is the part of the job where you can see a direct line from your work to the company's success. It's a big deal.
Now, for that second hat, project management. Let's be clear, this is not a job where you're sitting alone in a cubicle. Not even close. You'll be juggling multiple projects at the same time, and you'll be working with all sorts of different teams, from the designers with the initial ideas to the folks on the manufacturing floor. And maybe most importantly, you're the main point of contact for the suppliers. You're the one building those relationships that are just absolutely essential.
Okay, so we've got the company, we've got the mission. Now for the moment of truth. Do you have what it takes? Let's look at the profile of their ideal candidate. Right away, let's talk experience. They're looking for someone with 2 to 5 years under their belt, and you know that range is pretty telling. It's not 10 years plus or entry level. It seems like they're looking for someone who knows their stuff, but is also eager to grow into the role. It's a sweet spot.
Now for the education part. What do you need? Well, the foundation, the must-have, is a bachelor's degree in engineering. Think mechanical, electrical, industrial, that kind of thing. But you want to know what the secret weapon is? What makes you stand out from the pack? An MBA in supply chain management. That's what takes a candidate from good to, wow, we need to talk to them.
Okay, you've heard about the company, you know the job, you've seen the profile. And if you're sitting there nodding along thinking, hey, that sounds like me, well, let's talk about the most important part. How do you actually go for it? And here's the best part. You don't have to navigate some crazy, complicated online application portal that's going to take you an hour to fill out. No, this is super direct, super simple.
You're not sending your resume into some black hole of an HR inbox. You're sending it directly to a real person. His name is Sangamesh Sankanun.
And there's the email right there. It's sangamesh.sankanur. And just to be clear, that's Sankanur spelled S-A-N-K-N-U-R at aequs.com. That's it. That's your key to the door. So we'll end on this kind of funny note from the source material. It's not exactly your standard corporate jargon, is it? Like, share, and subscribe? But you know, maybe that says something about their culture. It feels a little more connected, more collaborative. So I guess the real question to ask yourself isn't just,
Do I have the skills for this? It's, am I ready to be that person in the middle of a huge global network connecting all the dots? If the answer is yes, well, you know exactly what to do.